I've been watching a lot of Gaia TV lately. It's a great resource if you're looking for a boost in your health or spirituality. Um, all the content is pretty awesome. And there's two programs in particular that I just found randomly. One is called Crazy Wise, and it highlights the mental health crisis in America, especially those who suffer from extreme diagnoses and addiction, and how those things are handled quite poorly in our country compared to many countries around the world. And some of the highlights that stood out to me, I want to show a couple clips from this film, and one other film too that I like on there is called Gabriel Method. It's a speaker who talks about weight loss, and ironically he had a really good section on spirituality. So I want to share a clip from him as well, and how honing in on your spirituality can help you heal and heal your weight gain as well. So between the two, mental health, substance abuse, and seeing how those things kind of tie together, both of these programs highlighted how our spiritual health is fundamental in our well-being, which is something that I believed for quite some years now. And I've also believed that some people have blockages around their spiritual health. And some of those blockages come from their religion they're raised in. It comes from their viewpoints they developed over time, maybe watching too many programs online and developing more of a nihilistic perspective or an atheist perspective, and in some ways following a path that doesn't have a lot of potential for happiness and opportunities for growth. I have another video on that if you'd like to watch that as well. But ultimately, those who can get past their blockages and keep the good. You may not agree with everything you learn growing up or everything you learn in a religion or a spiritual practice, but you can keep those good pieces and build upon them instead of throwing them away. One analogy to that is, hey, the tire's flat. Do you throw out the whole car? No, you fix the tire, or you get new tires, but you still keep the car. So I want to share these couple clips with you, and then I'd love to hear your feelings, your feedback, and what they might mean to you. I know for me, they have been simple little reminders that staying on a path towards God as I define God is worth the trials, the tribulations, and the difficulties. It creates an opportunity for me to feel happiness and growth. Where if I'm off the path and I'm in a place of anger towards God or frustration toward God, God still loves me. And He gives me the space I need to work through that. However, the longer I stay off that path, the more bitterness and resentment I can build up. And bitterness and resentment do not lead to good things. They just don't. So choosing to forgive myself, forgive God, even though I don't think He really needs it, but forgive whatever life situation has created a difficulty for me, and living my life and experiencing pain has been a much more profitable path for me and my family and my growth. And I know it may be able to help those who are listening today.
It's part of being human to discover meaning in our tragedies, to discover meaning and purpose in the pain that we go through, and to look beyond the specific suffering that we're going through and fit it into the larger story of our lives. That's just human. If you ask anybody how they survived an extreme tragedy in their life, most people are going to put spirituality at the center of what helped them. There's no difference for mental health problems. We have to recognize that people's spiritual beliefs and their spiritual resources and their religion are often central to what give them the strength to make it through.
The paths are many. Some find it through religion. Sometimes religion is an obstacle to that. In fact, often it is. But it may be a conduit to it as well, depending on who and how and where. There's this spiritual nature that if we ignore, we're actually ignoring an essential part of ourselves. Human beings have certain needs for meaning, for contact, for community, for acceptance, for authenticity, which is the capacity to feel what we feel and to be in touch with our bodies and to express what we feel when we need to.
In the shamanic traditions, there are maps and there are compasses that you can use to guide you through your dark night of the soul. So you're encouraged to explore the depths of the psyche with all of the despair and suffering, and to not get stuck there. To use that as some point of initiation to open you up to lucidity and a sense of personal destiny.
There is something so magnificently touching and moving to see how people handle trauma, because you see the splendor of the human spirit for those who don't allow themselves to be victimized, but become stronger and more committed to making sure it doesn't happen to someone else.
What I would like to see is that everyone who goes through the kind of crisis that I went through is given an opportunity to explore what it might mean, to present them with the possibility that maybe it's not just a broken brain, maybe it's not just an illness, maybe this is not just something to hide and be ashamed of, maybe it's something to explore and learn from.
The film process has been a perfect storm of everything that scares me. The interactions with an older male, and also the experience of cameras, of invasion, of allowing, sharing, every aspect of this has been like a perfect thing for me to get over trauma. And like seeing, letting it, this has been terrifying in every way, but it's been also healing. Phil has helped me so much. Someone coming to me with an honest curiosity about my situation instead of an opinion. I hope that this film ends up showing people that they are okay.
What helps all of us stay well? Well, it's shelter, it's exercise, it's good food, it's meaning in life, it's socialization. And that immediately breeds a sense of optimism, a sense of hope that you can have a breakdown, but you can recover from that with the right sort of environmental care. How do we as a society provide those things to people? How do we build up that foundation and not just put a Band-Aid over it, but to really build a healthier society for ourselves?
I just think it's really important for people to find some spiritual path. It doesn't have to be shamanism. It could be yoga, it could be Tai Chi, it could be meditation. Some spiritual path that opens people up to their own creative impulse and to their own spiritual power.
There are millions of varieties of therapy and alternative holistic treatments, but in the mental health system, really all we offer is traditional psychotherapy kind of stuff and drugs.
Watching that little piece on Crazy Wise documentary helps remind me the power of spirituality in my life, of keeping a focus, building forward, finding things that work, like yoga, breath work, spiritual practices, studying good books, doing a lot of service, choosing gratitude, building upon pieces that either you were given as a child that maybe you've let go find those things that used to work for you, or building new pieces into your life that also work for you, and build a community of strength for yourself. Now I want to go on to the next piece. If you've struggled with faith or even belief in God, this next clip might help you see things a little bit differently and potentially give you something to work with that you hadn't considered before. So let's check it out.
So I remember about 15 years ago, I was reading a story about all these billionaires in Russia and how they had all this money and they didn't know what to do with it. So there was a service in Russia for $50,000. You pay this service, you pay them $50,000 for the right to go out and be homeless. You have to live on the streets, you have to fend for yourself, find food, sleep, shelter, all these things. They will watch you and make sure that you don't get killed or harmed in any way. So you're being monitored. But other than that, you're on your own. And I thought, why would somebody do that? You know, why would they come to this hostile place and pretend when they had all this money? The reason they did that is because once they got back to the penthouse, you know, and all their servants, and would you like some more peeled grapes, sir? And all of these things. They had a greater appreciation for what it meant to be a billionaire, for their money and for their luxuries. They had a greater appreciation. And you know, you read all these books and spiritual books, New Age books, whatever they are, and everyone talks about how we're this immortal being on a journey. And maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I don't care if it is. But what if it was? And what if we were on this immortal, what if we were these infinite beings on an immortal journey and coming to this plane, this planet is part of that? I thought to myself, why would we do that? Why would we come to a place like this? And then I realized that it's really, being on a place like Earth is really the best gift you can give yourself. If you really are an immortal, eternal being, and you can have any experience you want, then it just stands to reason that sooner or later you'd come to a place where you had the illusion of being a limited being, of having to fight for love, money, resources, having a body that could die or be harmed, having all of these horrible things that could happen to you, being unsafe. It just stands to reason that you would come to a place like this. And part of the deal is you would voluntarily agree to forgetting who you really were, because otherwise you lose the whole point. So it's like an adventure. You would forget who you are, you sign off to amnesia, and you go and you live in this place where you have to fight for everything, where everything's unsafe, where life could end. Why would you do that? Well, once you came back, you would remember who you truly were. And you will remember what an incredible gift it is that you're infinite, immortal, that love is everywhere, that support is everywhere, and that your true nature, you never really die. It just makes sense. And so I adopted a belief system like this simply because it serves me. And I don't care if it's right or wrong. And I don't care if it conflicts with anyone else's beliefs. Nothing about it matters to me except for the fact that I feel safe. If something were to happen to me and I die, I feel like I live forever. I feel like a part of me keeps going. If some horrible thing happened to me as a child, well, maybe I wanted that to happen. Maybe I agreed. Maybe I knew it was going to happen. Maybe I wanted it to happen. That's inconceivable. Some of the things that I went through and some of the things that other people will go through, and I went through nothing compared to what some people go through. Why would you do that? Maybe just to have the experience because you're an infinite, immortal being. Maybe. So I've adopted a belief like that makes me feel safe all the time. And I can tell you, I feel safe. You put me wherever you are, I feel safe. I feel like I live forever. Maybe it's true, maybe it isn't. And I don't want you to adopt it. I certainly not if it conflicts with your own personal beliefs, but I do want you to adopt a belief system that supports safety.
Thank you, Gabriel. What an awesome analogy. Appreciate the insights. That really blew me away. And it was hard to even believe that people would do that, but it makes so much sense the way you frame that. Hopefully today you found something that will feed your spirituality and increase your hope and faith in God. And if you did, please share this video with someone you love that you could see benefited from it as well. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.